YouTube, it's your girl Ashley and I'm back to do another video, and this video is going to be a story time video. See from the title above, it's going to be a video about how one of my students had a crush on me. So yeah, let's get right into the story. When I was in college, I had to complete a placement, which is pretty much like a co-op or internship, and I was placed in a high school to do my placement. Mind you, I had just come out of high school, so you know, still kind of around the same age group as other high school kids and things like that. So I was placed in a special needs classroom that had students with Down syndrome, autism, and things like that, and also the students who had like academic delays were in that class also. So how it works here in Ontario, if you are in a special needs classroom, you actually stay how it works here in Ontario is if you are in a special needs classroom, you actually stay into high school until you're 21 years of age. So you know, you enter high school when you're like 14 or so, and they stay in high school until they're 21 years of age, just to ensure that they've got all adequate or necessary academic skills. And also when you're a special needs student, they teach you life skills a lot as well. So that's why you stay to high school when you're till you're 21 years old. So in the classroom that I was in particular, I had students who had Down syndrome. There were students with Tourette's, students with autism, and like I said, students with academic delays. And there was this one kid in the class, we're gonna name him, let's name him Matthew. So Matthew was in this classroom, and I'm looking at Matthew and I'm wondering, why is this kid in the classroom? Because he actually looked like completely normal to me. He spoke well, he was well in his academics as also. So I was wondering, like, why is he in the classroom? So I found out that he had a slight academic delay, and he just had he just did not care for school. So that's why they had actually placed him in that classroom. So he was also 19 years old as well, because like I said, they stay into high school until they're 21 years of age. So he was 19 about to turn 20, and I was also 19 about to turn 20. So every time I would go into the classroom, I noticed that he would always be staring at me and stuff. And I'm always like, why is this kid always staring at me? Like, what? So this one day, the teacher had asked me to follow him to another classroom because he was actually going to be doing some work in another classroom or so. So I was asked to accompany him. So I said, yeah, sure, no problem. So we're walking to the classroom, and he's asking me all these questions about myself. He's like, where are you from? And things like that. We come to find out that we had pretty close ethnicities. We were both West Indian. And he's asking me if he can add me on Facebook and if he can get my phone number and all that stuff. And I'm just like, boy, you cannot be asking me those things. Like, I'm technically like your teacher. Like, you know, you can't do that. And he's like, but nobody has to know. You don't have to tell the teacher. And I'm like, boy, I'm not gonna let you get me into no trouble here. We cannot do that, no. And he was so upset that I didn't want to give him my number and my Facebook. Plus, at the time, I had a boyfriend. And he was like, no you don't, no you don't. And I'm like, boy, yes I do. And at the time, I had a picture of me and my boyfriend on my cell phone, and I showed it to him, and he was so upset. Like, he was so mad that I had a boyfriend. He's like, oh, if I see him, I'm gonna do this to him. And I'm like, boy, hush your little self. Like, you cannot be talking to me like this right now. So anyways, we get to the classroom and he's doing his work, and I'm helping him, and he's just looking at me dead into my eyes, and it was so awkward. Like, it was so weird. It was so crazy. So anyways, we're walking back to his original classroom, and he's like, do you want to meet me at the bar on Saturday? And I was like, boy. And I'm like, you don't give up, do you? And he's like, no, but I really like you. Like, I want to hang out with you. And I'm like, Matthew, I cannot do that. And I'm like, remember, I'm in college and I'm technically like your teacher. I cannot do this. This is not allowed for me to do. I could get in a lot of trouble. And he's like, but nobody has to know. And it's like, he just didn't understand that there were certain boundaries that I had to have with him. Although we were practically like the same age, and if I was attending his high school, we'd probably hang out and stuff like that. But you know, technically he was one of my students, and I couldn't do something like that. And plus, at the time, I had a boyfriend and I wasn't even interested. But literally, he put up a serious fight. Like, it was to the point where the other teachers in the classroom knew that he had a crush on me, and they used to make little jokes like, ooh, Matthew, you want to work with Ashley? And I was just like, I'm working with him. So when it came around to like, you know, my last few days completing my placement there, because I did it for a semester, and you know, all the students kind of wrote little cute cards for me and stuff, and this boy wrote this heartfelt card for me, and I was just like, oh my goodness, like I couldn't believe it. And like while I was completing the placement, you know, every time we did different activities and stuff, the teachers would take pictures and put it up on the wall to help them remember that we had this cool experience and things like that. I guess it helped them, you know, with their brain and things like that. So there was this one picture in particular that me and Matthew had taken together, and he like took it off the wall, had it in his backpack and everything. Like he walked around with this picture, and I'm just like, oh my god, what if one of his like family members saw the picture and wanted to know who I was? Like, so yeah. But at the end of the day, he was actually a really nice kid, and things like that. And it was a really great experience working in that classroom and everything. But that boy, he really put up a serious fight. So yeah, that is my little crazy story about how one of my students had a crush on me. If you enjoyed my story time video, then please give this video a thumbs up, and if you have any requests or concerns, please leave them down below in the comment section, and do not forget to hit that subscribe button so you'll be notified when I have another upload.